Okay, welcome to an interview on Inside the Millennial Mind. I'm still not 100% on that title, but we're going to go with it for now. I have on the line with me Justin. Justin is actually a good friend of mine. Justin lives in Des Moines, Iowa. I'm going to ask him a little bit about himself, but I was really excited to bring Justin on because he has a really cool story to share. He has actually had LASIK before. So we're going to follow him down that entire journey on his whole process of getting LASIK. And yeah, welcome, Justin. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Totally. So let's just kind of get some demographic stuff. So you live in Des Moines, you're married.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yep. We got a kid. We got a 1-year-old, and we got another one on the way, due in March.
Super awesome.
So we're gonna have two little ones running around here shortly. What else?
What do you
I
do?
am, I am a credit analyst for John Deere Financial at the current time. So basically, I basically sit at a desk all day, stare at a screen. Let's see, I'm 28 years old, so almost at the 30 mark. Yeah, born and raised in Iowa, farm boy, living in big city Des Moines now. So that's just a little bit about me and my occupation and my family.
Cool. Perfect. Okay, awesome. So I really kind of want to just get right into it. Let's talk about LASIK when you got it. So before
hmm
that, did you wear glasses or contacts primarily?
Yeah, I wore contacts. So that was I primarily wore contacts. When my eyes dried out, I would throw on the glasses, but I would prefer contacts. So a little history there. I had glasses since I was in fifth grade, and then I moved to contacts probably in seventh grade for sports when I started playing football and stuff. So yeah, primary contacts. Um, guess I really throughout high school and college, it wasn't really a big deal. It was more when I got graduated and started staring at a screen all day where I was noticing a lot of dry eyes and stuff like that. So a little bit of background there.
So you switched to contacts because you didn't want to have like the Horace Grant.
Yeah, no,
That,
no, that would have been whack, man. But yeah, I was a little self-conscious. I remember the first day I got glasses. The next day I didn't want to even go to school. Like I faked being sick because I didn't even want people to see me with glasses on. So
yeah.
that's kind of funny. But I remember that. That's weird. That's fifth grade, and I still remember that.
All right.
So yeah.
Impactful. Okay, so I know the story. I remember you told it to me when you got LASIK. What was really cool is Justin knew what I did for a living, so he knew
hmm
space. So he's like, "Hey, I'm thinking about getting LASIK. Where should I go?" I gave him some options, but I was really interested. You go ahead and explain to me what was the trigger that kind of made you jump over the edge to actually look at getting it done.
Yeah. So I had looked into it, a few times. Really determined that that was probably a little too pricey for what I wanted to pay. I didn't really see the long-term benefits of doing that, a few times. What really set me over was actually my wife really convinced me. I knew you had worked in it. We talked about it. But my wife made a really good point. She kind of said, and this was like a month before my first child was born. My son was born. She's like, "You're not going to want to be dealing with glasses and contacts, especially at night if you're getting up in the middle of the night." And so she didn't want me to basically have the excuse of, "Oh, I can't get up because I can't see."
Yeah.
And I don't know if I would have done that. Hopefully I wouldn't have, but you never know. I didn't even get the chance because I had LASIK done a month before my son was born. But she really was the catalyst there, and I wasn't opposed to it. Obviously, I wanted it. I just didn't think the cost would benefit me in the long run. So I guess yeah, and then I really started looking into it, talking to you, doing my own research on it after that.
Got it. So let's back up. I kind of jumped ahead. So worn glasses and contacts essentially since fifth grade. Now you said you looked into it a few times and then you're like, oh, it's a little pricey.
Yeah.
How long, maybe like when was the first time you actually looked into it until you finally got it done? Like,
Um, I would say maybe, so let's see, I was maybe a year, I guess, because when I was living with you guys, basically, I mean, you had been working on your marketing stuff for it. So a little bit there, but really, I talked to, there was been a few people at work that had it done. And maybe the other thing too was people at work had a little bit of different experiences with it. I know I talked to probably four people at work that had it done, and I would say three of them really loved it, and then one guy had some issues where he had to go back and get another, had to get something fixed with one of his eyes. So at that point, I was like, I don't know, and so I would say probably a year
okay,
um,
got it.
before I really got into it.
So you started looking at a year before you actually got it done. Then your wife says, "Look, I don't want any excuses. Uh,
Right,
play like a champion. You got to get this done."
exactly.
So now the decision is made to get it done. What's the process that you did that you went on to find the practice you eventually went to?
So obviously, I talked to you was kind of the start. Talked to people at work. I did a bunch of research on my own, just with places here in Des Moines, the different kind of technology, the different lasers that were being used. Um, that's kind of my thing. If I want to go out and find something, I'm gonna go find it. I'm gonna do a bunch of research on it before, especially this being my eyes. Like I don't want that to get screwed up. I don't want anything that happened there, especially a month before my son was born. So just talking to people, you especially, people that had maybe good experiences and bad experiences, reading stuff online, whether going for. I think there's guys out there that still use blades, and there's obviously the lasers. So I just kind of researched it on my own quite a bit.
I know it's been a while. How long has it been?
So I had LASIK done
Well, you said
July
year.
July of 2014, so a year and a few months.
Got it.
So
So, do you remember where, like, what sites did you do your research on?
no, I can't remember exact sites. I mean, I think mainly they were the sites of the clinics I was looking at going. I was, just reading about them, reading about their doctors, reading about their surgeons, seeing their philosophy. I had a few. Well, I had I had a free consultation at one, and that's actually the place I ended up going. But they actually gave me a bunch of information about the lasers they used. But yeah, mainly I think the clinic sites. I did a bunch of research, and then in general about LASIK and the progression of LASIK over time and kind of the history of it.
Got it. Okay. So you did a lot of research on the practice website, and then how many actual consultations did you do? Did you go into
I just had one.
that was the one you
I
were
had I had one basically because it was a place that has a great reputation here, and in the state of Iowa, and so I didn't. Uh, well, that one actually wasn't free. I had to pay a fee, a small fee. I think it was like $70. But if I went with them, then that got applied towards my surgery. So starts coming into effect here a little bit.
okay.
But there were some other places that offered free, but I didn't end up going to those because I didn't really feel the need to, I
Got it.
guess.
Okay. So so what made you kind of go over the edge? So you went into this practice because they had a good reputation. The people
hmm
that you talked to at your work, did they go to that same one?
No, they went to a different place. So um, my insurance that I well, the insurance that my employer offers, that John Deere offers, they had some sort of you could get a 15% off or something like that through a place, and so a lot of people would go to that one. Well, uh, it was more of a it wasn't really a local, it wasn't local to the area. It was more, you see these places all across the country.
Mm.
They fly surgeons in from different areas. So the place I went to was, it's based in Des Moines. It's they have locations across Iowa, but I'd heard of them. Actually knew a guy I went to college with. His dad was a surgeon there, so I kind of felt a little bit more. I like the local aspect of it. I like that the surgeon was in town in case anything were to happen with the surgery. And then the people I talked with at work, one guy, this guy went. I think all of them went to this other place, and the one guy really didn't have a great experience. So I was kind of like, well, that's 25% of the people I've talked to. So but yeah, I really just like the local flavor a little bit more.
Cool. Okay. And how are your results?
Great. It's weird because you can't really, I I'm I don't even notice it. Like it's like I never had contacts or glasses. Um, Basically, I don't even think about it. I mean, my eyes rarely even get dry. Like I don't remember the last time I've had an eye drop, or had to put in an eye drop.
That's great.
Um, Even staring at a screen all day. If I just, if I'm doing it for a while, I might notice a little bit of dryness, but then, just my normal blinking, um, I can get through that. So, um, it's hard to say because you don't, unless you're like something's wrong, you don't even think about it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just
So
crazy.
you had a great experience. So how many people have you referred then over to them since you had a good experience?
I was able to get one of my friends over there. She had it actually pretty recently, I think maybe less than a month ago. Um, she had some convincing to do with her husband, who it's kind of interesting because her husband has never had glasses or contacts. So, and they're both my good friends. So, but she was able to convince him. I kind of talked to her about the cost and then just about the benefits of it a little bit, and just doing a little cost analysis of uh, this. Yeah, it's a larger sum, but it's going to pay itself off in 4 or 5 years.
Got it. What
So,
did you use for that cost analysis? Was there any tools or did you kind of just, I know
no, I just kind of
you're like this analytical kind of dude. So
nah. So for me, basically, I mean, it wasn't. I don't even know if it was right but I basically just took um, the cost that I was paying for contacts a year. So I was paying, X amount every year, and I was actually using dailies, so those cost a little bit more, but I wasn't having to buy solutions. And then I took, the cost of buying glasses every couple of years. I didn't even really figure in the cost of the exams because with insurance, I didn't really pay anything. So I just took that and I took what that costs, and then I looked at the cost of LASIK and I said, okay, I didn't figure it for like inflation or anything too crazy, I didn't do that, but so I just kind of took that, and I think mine was maybe around 5 years, 5 to 6 years. It would kind of pay itself off.
got it. So how did you finance part of it? Did you guys save up and do this, or how did you end up paying for it?
We actually, I just put it on a 0% credit card, and then I get my bonus paid in December, so I just paid it off with that. So
Cool.
it was kind of nice. So we had to pay like minimum payments on it, but we weren't getting charged interest. I've used that a lot with other things too. You can find these 0% cards for like 18 months, and you
Totally.
can put stuff on there. So
Well, let me ask you this. So you said that you've referred one person. And it seems, and tell me if I'm wrong. It seems like right when you get it done, you're super excited because it's like
Hmm.
crazy. And then as time goes on, here you are just over a year later, and you're
Hmm.
like, I don't even remember what it was like without.
Yeah.
So therefore, I don't really think about it as often.
Hmm.
And so, is there kind of a cool off factor in referring people, or is it something when like maybe it comes up in conversation, and then you're like, oh hey, yeah, I went, and here's where I went. You should go do it
Yeah.
too.
I think for me, yeah, I don't know if I was like, I had great results, but I don't know if I was like overly excited about like just going out and telling people. Like it wasn't like, I mean, it is somewhat life changing because you don't have to deal with glasses or contacts or anything. But for me, I'm just not the type of person that just was like shouting it off the rooftops, you know. But I think more just yeah, it comes up in conversation with friends, and really you don't even know if people wear contacts. You don't even know
Mhm.
um, maybe if they have vision troubles, like people you work with, like some people they could wear contacts and I wouldn't even know it. But basically, yeah, it just comes up in conversation. And I would say this person even she started talking to me a little bit. She knew I got it. Started talking to me. I kind of explained some of the benefits of it. I think the other thing that to when you talk to people, you don't really know their budget. It is expensive, so it's like you don't want to be talking to people if about all these great benefits, and then like how much it costs, and they're like, oh, there's no way I can afford that. So, I mean, that's just something you don't want to get into, really.
Yeah. So, you're kind of a tough cookie then to get people. If this practice wanted you to be like just a rock star referrer, what could they do? Like, what would incentivize you? Is there anything that would incentivize you, make you like, okay, I got to get some people in here?
I could be a paid spokesperson. That would work. I get paid by the number of referrals. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Like, it'd be tough now because I've had it done. Like, really, I'm not planning on having any vision troubles in the future, unless I do have to get reading glasses of some sort.
Sure, but for
Uh,
you to refer other people, like what would incentivize? What would make you think, you know what? I need to get as many people as I can in there for the rest of
uh,
these. And it's okay if there's
well, I don't know. That's a tough one. Yeah, because it is sometimes I think more. I would, if I was talking to someone who I knew, was looking at it, obviously I would encourage it. Um, but I don't know if there's really anything I could get incent. I mean, it just depends. If they came to me and I was like, hey, could you talk about this? Like, kind of like you did. Can you talk about this experience you had? I'd be like, yeah, I'm on board. I'll
okay.
talk about it. I would do that for them. But yeah, for me, like you said, I don't really even think about it anymore.
Got it.
So I'm not just going to go and like, it's not really on the forefront of my mind on a daily basis.
Cool. Okay. Let's shift gears now. That was really awesome. I kind of want to shift gears real quick to, we're kind of running out of time for you, but let's get out of LASIK for a second and kind of more
Hmm.
mainstream. What are maybe like, what's like a brand or a local business or something that you follow or you're pretty passionate about?
Oh man. So my personality isn't. I'm not really much of a loyalist when it comes to brands. So, for example, if I'm not like always going to buy like a Ford car, I'm going to buy the best car that I can see. Maybe Ford has some good models, maybe Chevy does. So I'm not a huge loyalist, except for whatever reason. I've always been loyal to Nike for the most part. I've always had Nikes, always loved them. That's one brand where if I'm going to go buy shoes, I'm going to look at Nikes. Um, so, um, what was even the question? I got off track
No,
there.
no, you're fine. So like,
Uh,
well, how do you, okay, so Nike. So how do you interact with Nike?
um, so basically, if I'm looking for, say, I just bought a new workout shoe not too long ago. And so my first thing that I do when I go to purchase a product now is go online and research it. I read reviews of what other people have other reviews people have written, um, and so that's kind of my main thing that I do. Um, I think I do that with most everything, outside of just normal like buying groceries or like buying just household stuff. Um, so I definitely go. I do my research, especially if it's a big purchase. And like these shoes weren't, I mean, really they weren't that much money, but I was going to use them on a daily basis, so I wanted to make sure they were going to hold up, and that they would, do what I wanted. So that's
Got
kind
it.
of my main thing.
So reading reviews, where, like, what sites have shoe reviews? Are there specific ones or?
Um, so basically, the reviews I read were, I think they were on just Nike's site. And then, so this was specific to CrossFit. So there was a lot of CrossFit sites that I went on for this specific shoe, to research. Um, so yeah, let's
Okay.
see, I'm trying to think some other purchases, which is kind of weird because we just bought a new microwave and dishwasher. And I did a little bit of research, but I was like, we went into like Sears, and I had heard of Kenmore, so I'm like, okay, that's a good brand. And so there, I didn't. It was kind of weird. I like defied my own like thinking a little bit, and didn't do much research. But typically, I would do a bunch of research before I bought anything.
Got it. So actually, let's jump back to LASIK real quick. When you were looking up the doctors in practice, did you check out reviews?
Um, I don't know of the specific clinics.
Yep.
I
And
think I did a little bit. I think mainly it was on their site, so obviously like they're going to be good.
got it. You didn't jump over
But
to, like, many third-party sites like Yelp or anything like that.
no, I never really did that. Just mainly, the word of mouth stuff. That's obviously impactful, especially if someone goes to a place and doesn't have a good experience. Um, so those are a little bit tougher to find because LASIK's not really a tangible product like a shoe is. So they're not as easy. You're not going to go to Amazon and be like, oh, I had find like 300 reviews on a product, right?
Yeah,
So
agree.
yeah.
Cool. All right. So otherwise with other brands, so you're doing CrossFit and you're totally into it, which is super fun. I wish I could
hmm
time for that. But then so you're like, okay, I want to get a new shoe because I'm loyal to Nike. I want to look at theirs. Then I'm going to look at the reviews on their website and then
hmm
purchase. But then when you went with a washer and microwave, you're like, okay, I've heard of Kenmore. I'm going to go with that. That's fine. Just
Yeah.
what about
Well,
your wife? Did she do research on the appliances?
no, not really. I mean, we were kind of I guess we were kind of in a bind because ours like went to crap on us.
Got it.
So we just needed something. And I think, we went to Sears, who I've always known has a good reputation, especially for appliances. And I've heard of Kenmore. We have a Kenmore freezer, stand-up freezer that has lasted for a while and is really good for us. So I didn't really feel the need. Another thing too with like appliances is like I could research them until I'm blue in the face, but I wouldn't know like I wouldn't know as much about them as like Nike that I've been using for my whole life. Like the features of a dishwasher, I could literally care less about. I mean, I just wanted to wash my dishes. So for me, that wasn't as interesting of a purchase. So I probably didn't do as much research on it.
Got it. So would it be fair to say that you weren't as emotionally invested in a dishwasher as you were with what the shoes you're going to wear, how you're going to look,
Hmm.
how you're going to perform doing CrossFit?
Correct. That's
So,
a fair assessment.
so if there's like some like kind of emotional, not to get like super deep, but like emotional kind of almost a story behind a brand that where you're kind of painting a picture because you're not thinking to yourself, oh man, when people come over to my house, they're gonna check out my fridge and they're gonna see Kenmore, and then they're gonna be like, "Oh,
Yeah.
you got a Kenmore?"
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I mean that is a very good assessment. So the funny thing is about the shoe is like some guys that do like CrossFit with at work, like we talk about the shoe, we're like, "Oh, how's that feel when you're doing squats?" Or like, yeah, it's a much more emotional, like much more invested in that than the machine that washes my dishes. So, yeah, it's just a lot more for me. It's something that I'd just rather just talk about. And you know I would even like I've even recommended this shoe to like other guys. It's like, why would I even care if Nike gets more sales? Like, I'm not, I'm just like this shoe, but I'm referring people for this shoe. So it's kind of interesting.
yeah, okay. So like messaging wise, it would be more of that, the story of what you can do in CrossFit because of this.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Cool. All right. This was really awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you go here, because I know you're on a time schedule with the little one. So thank you again.
Hmm.
And this has been really great. And yeah, thanks, man. Have a great night.
Yeah, you too. Thank you. Appreciate it.